Hi, welcome to Professor Kev Show. I got my friend Soni with us from Seeds of Reading. Good afternoon, my friend. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, let's start at the beginning. Tell us why you started this cause.
So, I come from an Indian American background, and so we take trips to India every couple of summers. So, one trip I took that really stands out to me is the one I took in 2019. So, this was between my third and fourth grade year, and it was the first trip that I really remember. And what happened was I was looking around me, and India is known for being having a lot of poverty, and so 1 in 5 people are actually likely to live in poverty there, which
Well,
is insane to think about because I live here in Cary, North Carolina, and so that's not something I see very often. And then I lived in Ohio. So again, not something I saw a lot. And I saw kids who were around my age. I was 10 at the time, who were just trying to survive. They did not have school on their mind. They did not have reading on their mind. They didn't have anything on their mind. All they were trying to do is survive. And I think that really opened my eyes. It is a bit of a cliche, but it was the first trip where I wasn't kind of living in this rosy haze and I wasn't just thinking about that. It opened my eyes to the issues that so many people around my age were facing. And so a couple years later in 2021, in 2020 I moved to North Carolina. In 2021 is when virtual schooling and everything started, and I had a lot of time on my hands because of that. And I thought back to that trip, and I was a little bit older at this point. I was 12, and I thought that this is kind of my chance. I have time, I have something I'm passionate about, and I should do something. And so that's where Seeds of Reading came from. I started it in like a basement with my mom. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was 12, and so nobody around my age was really doing or into anything like this. And I did not know what I was doing, but I did know that I was really passionate about bringing literacy to underserved communities. And so I just kind of took it from there, learned on the job, and here I am today.
So tell us a little bit about what you're doing to help people.
Of course. So the main program I started first was I made reading content online. So I made videos of me reading books. And the reason I did this is I love researching. So I looked into literacy statistics and things like that. And what I saw was that way more people had access to technology, at least here in the States, than they did to actual books. And so many kids didn't really have anybody to read to them. So they were kind of left on their own. And so I started making reading videos and kind of putting them out on platforms like Instagram, YouTube channel, all of those kinds of things. And I saw that eventually, a couple of years down the line, people were as excited as me to create that kind of content. So the second thing I started was a global ambassador program. And so what I did was I recruited students around my age is where it started, but it is open to everybody. And I recruited them to just make a couple of videos and share them. And I was able to reach like 5 countries, 10 states, and I was really excited. Some other things I do, I did fundraisers. So one fundraiser I recently did was with an organization based in Canada. It's called Restoring Rainbows Milton. So we fundraise to buy school supplies and books for underserved communities. And then we do different community events and things like that. So in November, I was able to go to an event and have a stall and really just share with the community like what my passion is and where I'm trying to go with Seeds of Reading. And I was able to interact and raise money through that as well.
So you led us right into the next question. Where are you trying to take this?
So my goal is to reach 6 out of the 7 continents, Antarctica, of course, excluded. I'm trying to get ambassadors everywhere for the 50 states and then obviously the 6 continents because I really want this to be a widespread mission. The thing is, I feel like a lot of people they talk about things like poverty, they talk about hunger, but literacy isn't something that really comes to mind quickly when you talk about global issues or world issues. People are more focused on what's obvious and something they can see, but this is something that affects kids into adulthood and kind of restricts them from success, and it becomes a cycle. So what I'm trying to do is really A, raise awareness, B, reach as many places as possible. I hope to reach the 50 ambassador mark, and then I recently raised $500. I'm trying to take that to 1,000 if we're talking more recent goals. So I'm really excited to see where Seeds of Reading goes in the future.
Impressive. So what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, my friend?
The best way is A, either by emailing me. So it's just seedsofreading@gmail.com. Pretty easy to remember. Or you can DM me on Instagram. So that's at seeds underscore of underscore reading on Instagram. I also have a LinkedIn page, Seeds of Reading. So if you want to reach out to me there, I would be happy to get in contact with you.
Awesome. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to call into the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.